Good morning, my beautiful soul followers. Wishing everybody a beautiful Sunday morning if you're watching this live and on Sunday. If not, put hashtag replay and tell me what you think. But today I was looking through social media, taking a moment, just like looking through some things, and I read several things saying like, don't be a victim, never be a victim, like you're a survivor, you're not a victim, all of this stuff on how we should not be victims, how we should not be in our egos and don't play victim and all of that. And for the most part, I can get on board with that. For the most part, I'm like, yeah, living from a victim standpoint is not healthy. However, I actually think there are times we need to be a victim. We have to allow ourselves to be a victim or be in our egos, as I would say. Because oftentimes when we're in our ego is when we're being in victim mode. I'm not talking like allow yourself to be a victim of a horrible crime. I'm talking about victim mode here. That space where it's like everything happens to me. I have no control over my life. It's that external locus of control, as therapists, psychologists would say. It is that the things outside of us are controlling us, and we have no control over it. That is victim mode. And most spiritual gurus, most teachers, most therapists would be victim mode is an unhealthy space. But I have a difference of opinion at times. I think for the most part, we should work to not be in our victim. But at times, we need our victim. We need to be in our victim. We need to experience our victim mode. We have to allow our egos to have a breath, to have a moment. When we are consistently pushing out of this victim mode, no matter what comes out us, we don't feel our feelings. This is where we get this fake spirituality of, no, I'm going to look at it as my lesson. I'm going to look at it as positivity. And all of that is true. We can find the silver lining of everything. We can find the lesson, find the growth in the worst of situations. But sometimes we have to feel the feelings. And the difficult feelings oftentimes do not come up when we are in that high vibe mode because they don't align. And if we're constantly pushing those feelings away consistently and not allowing ourselves to sit in them, then we never fully see ourselves. We never fully see all aspects of ourselves. We have this beautiful light within us, each and every human. I don't care what you've done, how horrible you've been, the steps you've taken in your life. We all have light in us. I have worked with people, when I was a therapist, I have worked with people who rape people. I have worked with people who murdered people. The fact is, we all have light within us. Now, where we lean into, that is different from person to person, but we all have light within us. But we also all have dark. And we want to be seen as good people. And so we don't want to lean into that darkness. But the fact is we sometimes must lean into the darkness to see it. I'm not saying live from that space, but I'm saying have a moment where you sit on the ground and you're like, this isn't fair. He or she did this to me. It's not fair that happened to me. And have a 5-year-old fucking temper tantrum. Have your moment. Allow yourself that moment. And then get up. Brush your hair, straighten your clothes, and get on with fucking life outside of your victim mode. But you would not see that shadow piece of yourself if you do not allow yourself to sit in those feelings for a moment, experience it, see it. Because guess what? That is where some of our biggest growth can happen. It doesn't always have to happen there, but it's where some of our biggest growth can happen. Because we get to see the belief systems we still hold. So if you are sitting there and you're like, nothing ever works out for me, the world isn't fair to me, guess what? That's a belief system you have. And you then get to step out of your victim mode and go, okay, I got to work on this. I got to work on this. I have to disprove this. I have to work on releasing this energy. But the fact is, if you never slow down and you never allow yourself your ego to have that little bit of what I would consider breath of fresh air, to have that moment, then you never see that piece of you. Now, just because you see this darkness within you, this shadow piece, does not mean you're a bad person. It means that you're able to see and witness yourself in all aspects. It's where are you living from? Where are you vibing at most of the time? Victim mode allows us to have a moment and feel our feelings and get some of the rage, the anger, the sadness, the depression out. None of us are victims. We all signed up for this life. We all signed up for these things in our lives. That is my belief. It's what I teach. We all signed up for this. However, we still get to feel it. And sometimes it's okay to go, this isn't fair. This feels very unfair right now. This feels hard and this feels sad and I don't want to be here and I don't want to do this. To have that moment. It's okay. And I think so much of spirituality has now tried to whitewash that. And what ends up happening is we get this fake, false spirituality. We get this fake, false perception of others. And we show up not as our authentic selves. We show up in this kind of place. And no one lives from that place. No one is happy 100% of the time in this high vibe place. We can live more and more and more in that space. But guess what? The people who are the happiest, those spiritual gurus who are rocking it out and that we know their names, guess what? It's not that they never saw their victim mode. It's never that they never sat there for a second. It's that they realized it and they grew from it and they moved above it and they raised their vibration to the point that they no longer needed to go down. I can't talk today. They did not need to go down to those depths any longer because they did their work. The fact is, it's okay to sit in victim mode for a second. But then get your fucking ass out of there. You're not pitching a tent and staying there. It's having your moment, allowing your ego to get angry and see yourself in that anger and feel yourself in that anger. Allow yourself to step into those different age groups I talked about a couple weeks ago. It was actually a week ago. On my birthday, I talked about it. About step into those different pieces of self, those different ages. Because guess what? A 5-year-old is going, this isn't fair. It's not going, I'm going to rise above and be spiritually aligned. No, your 5-year-old is pissed off and throwing a temper tantrum. You don't want the 5-year-old driving the car of your life, but it's still in the car and you're allowed to have some acknowledgement to it. And so, do not sit in victim mode, okay? That is not going to get you what you want in your life. If you sit there, if you're always blaming, if you're always pointing fingers, if it's never your fault, if everything is happening to you and not for you and from your own actions and from your own energy, then that is not a healthy space to live. However, acknowledging your victim is so important. So important for our growth. For us to see and love ourselves at a deeper level. So, I hope this message helped. I would love to hear your comments, your thoughts, your questions below. If you want to step into the orgasmic life, which this is a piece of it, seeing your shadow, so that you can really truly rise up to those higher vibrations. If you want to live that orgasmic life, not just in the bedroom, talking about your life, to feel good, to tap into your power and your energy and your sensuality and just who you are, then click the link below and we can do a consult and see how we can get you moving along for the rest of 2021, because 2022 is coming pretty fast, guys. So I love you, and I will see you tomorrow for another Addison Unleashed. Bye, guys.